Daf Yomi, Tractate Chullin, page 12b. Top of the page with the words Haki Kamar. Haki Kamar, Nirin Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Chanina Beno, Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Bi'ashba Shebashuk. She'av Rabbi Chanina Beno, Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Lo Nech Lakalav. The Gemara explains this is what Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is saying. The statement of Rabbi Yehuda appears correct to Rabbi Chanina, the son of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, in a case where one found them in a scrap heap, that is in the marketplace, as Rabbi Chanina, the son of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, disagrees with Rabbi Yehuda only in the case where he found them in a scrap heap that is in the house. But in a case where he found them in a scrap heap that is in the marketplace, he concedes to Rabbi Yehuda. And the statement of Rabbi Chanina, the son of Rabbi Yossi Aglili, appears to correct Rabbi Yehuda in a case where he found them in the house, as he concedes to Rabbi Chanina in that case. Lo ketani ela shema yikalkelu. Omer Rabbi, zoi sei meres, ein moischino en chulin lechatchila. The Mishnah stated, everyone slaughters an animal, meaning can perform a lawfully valid slaughter, and their slaughter is valid except for deaf mute, nibisul and a minor, lest they ruin their slaughter. The Gemara infers that Tana did not teach due to the concern that they ruin their slaughter in the past tense. Rather, he teaches lest they ruin their slaughter in the future. Rava says, that is to say, that one does not give them non-sacred animals for slaughter ab initio, even with the supervision of others. The Mishnah continues, and for all of them, when they slaughter an animal and others seen and supervise them, their slaughter is valid, including a deaf, mute, and imbecile minor, who lack competence and whose intent is not lawfully effective. The Gemara asks, who is the Tana who taught that we do not require intent for slaughter? Amar Rabbi Natani, the Tani Yehoshua Ze'ira min Chaveraya. Zark Sagin and Otto McCoy no Loch Behalcha Shaka Kedalko, Ragnason Marshim Yahom poisoning, Hotonina who Amar Loch Carabinason. Rava said, it is Rabbi Natan, as Yehoshua, the youngest of the company of sages, taught an bride standing and went through a knife to embed in the wall. And in the course of its flight, the knife went and slaughtered an animal in its proper manner. That would be a miracle if that happened. But anyway, Rabbi Natan deemed the slaughter valid, and the rabbis deemed the slaughter not valid. Yehoshua teaches the right that he states about this. Yehoshua teaches the right and he states about it. The halacha is in accordance with the meaning of Rabbi Natan, and there is no need for intent to perform a valid act of slaughter. The Gemara asks, how could the slaughter be in the right to be valid, but don't we require the slaughter to move the knife back and forth on the throat of the animal? When one throws a knife that goes in one direction, it does not return. The Gemara answers, the case in the Braita is where one knife went and cut the animal's throat, caromed off the wall, came back, and cut the throat again in its proper manner. Which means it never happened in the history of mankind and never will happen. It's just a really cool case to imagine. That's like physics doesn't hold, does it? The knife, he threw the knife, that must have been some throw. He threw the knife, it bounced off the wall, and then it cut the animal's throat, and therefore it satisfied the two cuttings. Okay. Yesh lo machshava oy lo machshava. Rabbi Kiva says that Rabbi Yochanan raises the dilemma in matters that require thought and intent. Does a minor have a lachli effective thought, or does he not have a lachli effective thought? Amalei Rav Ami miti boyle ma'aseh ma'ishno ma'aseh. They're like komi boyle. It's not yesh lan ma'aseh machshava nami loy ti boyle nitnani loy machshove. Rabbi Ami said to Rabbi Chia bar Abba, and then Rabbi Yochanan raised the dilemma regarding the action of a minor, whether the action of a minor that indicates intent is effective. What is different about the action of a minor that Rabbi Yochanan does not raise the dilemma, it is due to the fact that we learned in the Mishnah in Kalim 17:15, a deaf, mute, and imbecile and a minor have the capacity to perform an action that is lawfully effective with regard to thought as well. Let him not raise the dilemma as we learned in the Mishnah. We learn in the same Mishnah. They do not have the capacity for a lachli effective thought. Titznad aloim v'chimoim v'agois shichakakum tinoikois namud ben ofor oy shehis kinum lekach moznaim tamein mipnei sheyesh lohen ma'aseh. As we learned in that Mishnah, with regard to an acorn, a pomegranate, or a nut, which minors hollowed, minors, meaning youngsters. Okay, let's go through that again. As we learned in that Mishnah with regard to an acorn, a pomegranate, or a nut, which minors hollowed in order to measure dirt with them, or that they affix to a scale, the long stance of those shells is that of vessels, and they are susceptible to ritual purity. By contrast, if the minors merely thought to use the shells for measuring or weighing, unlike adults, they do not thereby render those shells into vessels. The reason for this distinction is due to the fact that they have the capacity to perform an action.